Hello, we shall speak on deep state. Deep state is an interesting concept, and particularly in the present global order context, it becomes more interesting. Deep state means a secret network of mostly non elected government officials and sometimes private entities, as in the financial services or defense industries, who operate extra legally in influencing and enacting government policies. A deep state is a sort of unelected government where potentially secret and unauthorized networks of power operate. This network functions independently of a state's political leadership in order to pursue their own agenda and goals. In popular language, the term carries overwhelmingly negative connotations and is often associated with conspiracy theories. The term deep state refers to a purported network of influential actors within government and different aspects of society. They operate underground to influence and determine public policy. Mostly their operations remain outside the focus of domestic and democratic accountability. However, definitions of deep state may vary depending upon the context. The objective, why deep state operates, or what is the exact meaning, objective definition of deep state. A deep state is an informal and covert power structure composed of government officials, military leaders, intelligence agencies, bureaucrats, and influential private entities such as corporate and financial elites that operate independently or in opposite to the formally elected government to influence and control and even determine the policy decision and governance. We can outline the important characteristics of a deep state. Number one, covert operations. Their activities remain secret and they operate behind the scenes. For example, the Nira Radia tape case can be a fit one in this context. Number two, institutional nexus. A combination of state institutions like intelligence agencies, judiciary, military, and private stakeholders, corporations, media, and financial entities. Number three, autonomy from public scrutiny. They operate outside the democratic accountability, sometimes bypassing the legal and constitutional processes. Number four, policy influence. They shape policy directions to align with their interests, which may not align with the public interest or elected official mandates. Fifth, continuity across regimes. They operate regardless of change in political leadership or government, ensuring consistency in pursuing certain goals. In historical and contemporary contexts, if we discuss, we can take certain examples, certain cases. That is, suppose Turkey. The term deep state is originated in Turkey, describing a shadow group of military, intelligence, and bureaucratic figures alleged to influence the government. In the context of USA, which is used by critics to describe the influence of intelligence agencies such as CIA, NSA, or the military-industrial complex in steering foreign and domestic policies. In the context of other nations, allegations of deep state dynamics appear in countries like Egypt, Pakistan, and India, often involving military and intelligence agencies overreach. There are criticisms and various types of debate centering the deep state. For example, number one, conspiracies versus reality. Critics argue that the deep state concept is often used as a conspiracy theory with little evidence to substantiate claims of its existence. Number two, institutional complexity. What is termed a deep state may sometimes be the natural friction between different arms and governance or entrenched bureaucratic inertia. Number three, distinction from legitimate power structures. A deep state operates in contrast to formal democratic mechanisms where policy decisions are ideally made transparently by elected representatives and are subject to checks and balances, whether or not such entities exist in specific cases. The term embodies concerns about accountability and governance integrity. We can give some historical examples of alleged deep state activity. For example, Turkey. Ergenekon case. In the late 20th century and early 2000s, Turkey's deep state was alleged to involve a shadow coalition of military officials, intelligence operatives, and bureaucrats working against democratic reforms. This network was accused of staging coups, assassinations, and other destabilizing activities. The Ergenekon trials in 2008, they attempted to dismantle this alleged network but were criticized for political motivations. USA, the military-industrial complex. It has been there in USA. Even in the farewell speech, Biden had mentioned that the industrial military complex, that oligarchy, will dominate the US situation during the Trump period. But it has always been the case in USA. President Eisenhower warned about the military industrial complex in 1961, where he had highlighted the growing influence of defense contractors and military leaders in shaping foreign policy. Allegations of the CIA's role in foreign coups, that is, take for example, Iranian coup in 1953, Guatemala in 1954, and the domestic surveillance during the Cold War, who had suspicions of a deep state operation within the US. In case of Pakistan, the military and ISI. The military and ISI have been accused of controlling the civilian government in Pakistan on issues like foreign policy with India and Afghanistan in particular. Frequent dismissal of civilian governments under military pressure in Pakistan has reinforced the idea of deep state there. Some contemporary examples can be given. Take the case of India. Allegations of bureaucratic and intelligence overreach emerge occasionally, particularly in sensitive matters like foreign policy or internal security. Some critics argue that entrenched bureaucrats resist reforms that challenge their power, creating perception of deep state within the government institutions. Russia. The Siroviki, security and intelligence elites, are considered a deep state in Russia, having significant influence over policy and over the administration of Putin. What are the implications of deep state? Number one, erosion of democracy. The existence of deep state undermines democratic process by shifting decision-making power away from the elected representatives to unelected actors. Citizens may lose trust in democratic institutions in such cases, which may lead to believing their votes do not matter. Number two, accountability and transparency. Policy decisions influenced by deep state often bypass public scrutiny, leading to favor elite interest over public welfare. Number 3, policy continuity often criticized. A deep state might ensure continuity in long-term policies, defense or economic strategies, especially when governments frequently change. Even a continuity of a stable government may also invite the danger of the operation of a deep state. Number 4, weaponization of the concept. Many times, the concept of deep state has been weaponized. Politicians or leaders, they weaponize deep state narratives to discredit legitimate dissent or investigations. For example, Donald Trump claims about a deep state working against him when he got defeated in the 1920 elections. What are the questions to ponder while we are discussing the matter of deep state? The questions are, number 1, how do we differentiate legitimate bureaucratic inertia from deliberate deep state activities? Number 2, could the concept of deep state be objectively proven, or is it inherently speculative? Number 3, does the existence of such networks signify systematic flaws in governance? And so, how can they be addressed? Exploring these questions can shed more light on what the deep state narrative and how it influences politics and governance all over the globe. Thank you.